Hello everyone, and welcome back to One Take Planes. And here we make planes with one take. There's no cuts or edits or time lapses, so you can see it all. And it's easy to build the planes. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a TIE fighter. This plane is pretty cool, or should I say ship, either one. And yeah, it's fairly simple, and it tends to fly a little crazy, but you do get some pretty cool flights every now and then. And yeah, let's get into it. So all you'll need is some scissors and a pencil and a ruler and some tape as well, good old tape. And you will also need a little binder clip, or whatever you want to call these, bulldog clips. And you will also need your classic 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of printer paper. And so, we may as well get started. So, for the first step, what we will do is make a small fold about an inch at the top here. And if you don't have a grid like this, you can take a ruler and a pencil, and you can just mark out 2 inches from the top on either side, just like that. And all you're going to do is bring this top edge here down to these marks here. And if you have a grid, you can just line it up and then make your fold using those marks. And you'll just bring each corner right to the mark as best as you can. It's a bit tricky because it is a long fold, but once you get it, it should be set to go. And then, once you are done that, you can bring this top edge here that has the fold right down to the edge of the paper that we just folded over. Just like that. Basically turning this 1 inch bar on the top to a 1/2 inch. Just like that, nice and simple. Then you can just make sure that that's creased really nicely. Run a nail along it or some scissors, whatever you want. And next we will bring our bar that we made, and we will fold it over itself, just like that. And then we can crease that nicely again. And our top or front of our plane is done. So what we'll do next is we can flip our page around, and we will start from this edge that's facing away from us. And what we'll want to do is similar to the first fold that we made, but it will only be 1/2 inch wide, or the top edge of the paper will only go 1 inch into the paper if you're measuring with a ruler. Just once again, show you guys 1 inch and 1 inch, just like that. And then you can bring your top edge and just line up those corners and make that fold there. Now lined up nicely, and crease it, and there you go. Okay, and now for the next step, we will fold our whole sheet in half, and this will basically give us a line to cut along. in half, just like that. And then you can see that we have a nice line right down the middle. And what we will do next is grab our ruler and our pencil. And what we need to do here is go straight from our top edge, and we will, along the fold, measure at 5 1/4 inch, and then we'll make a mark right there, and then we'll also make a mark at 5 3/4 inch. This will basically leave us 1/2 inch to be able to connect the wings or end plates, whatever you want to call them, to the body of the plane. What we'll do next is grab our scissors that we got from before, and we will cut right down this center crease that we just made, and all the way until this mark here, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. And we do not want to cut here. We only want to cut here and here. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. And then that is done, and hopefully I'll remember to not cut that little piece right there to connect the plane. But anyhow, we'll move on to the next step. If you did end up cutting it, you can always just tape it back on. Just make sure it's lined up nicely, and you'll be set to go. But anyhow, for the next step, we will grab our piece of paper that has the first folds that we made, or it has multiple folds rather than just the one fold, and we will kind of roll it in our thumb and our index finger and kind of just like bend it. There will be a bit of weird looking folds on there on our bar that we made before, and kind of just want to get that circle so that it's easier to roll up later. Then we can do the same thing on the other half of the paper. Just kind of roll that up. And then what we will do is basically just bring this around and roll it up. You want to make a nice little tube basically, and it should be about 1.5 inches across or in diameter. And we'll bring our other flap that we also rolled and just bring that around just like that. This can be a bit tricky to do. And once you have it like that, you can pinch it and then grab your roller, or your ruler rather, and it should be about 1.5 inches. That's looking bang on. So we are set to go, and tape it right there. Just making sure everything is lined up really nice. Grab our one little piece of tape and put it on the edge and put it inside our little roll, and that'll hold it all together. And then our roll is all set. We just need to tape this little flap down here so we don't have that flying around. Just grab another piece of tape. Just like that. And then for our next step, we will fold our big long piece that we have here, and we will put it underneath our roll that we just made. And then what we can do is we're going to fasten this, our body of our TIE fighter, to the wings, and we'll basically just roll a piece of tape right around there. And we want this as centered as possible, so what you can do is basically grab it by this little 1/2 inch of paper that we left here and just pinch that, and then just basically eyeball it, make sure it looks center, and it should be. And then all you have to do is grab a little piece of tape, put it right in the middle, and roll it over, and then you can press it in there, and it should be fastened right on there, nice and good. And then for the next step, all you have to do is bring these flaps, and we'll bring them straight up like this, and we'll pinch them at the top so that we can make sure that that when we're taping these, so that they're in the middle of the body of the plane, that they're nice and equal in length and not all wonky. And so for this next step, we'll have to grab another piece or two of tape, and then what we can actually do is cut this tape in half. Just like that. We don't need a whole lot of tape, we just need basically a guide. And what we want to do here is get it right along the middle of the body of the TIE fighter. So this top edge of the tape should be in line with the middle of the TIE fighter body. Just like that, and then we'll do the same thing for the other side. We want to go with the top edge of the tape right on the center line of the TIE fighter. Just kind of fold that over just like that. And then you're good to let go, and it should look something like this. And we'll be able to fold our wings nice and level and right in the center of the body of the TIE fighter. So for our next step, we want to tape the back so that that's nice and secure. So what we can do is grab another little piece of tape, and we'll cut this one in half as well. And to secure this back piece here, we'll basically just hold it with your index finger and your thumb right by where you taped the front, and you'll basically go in a straight line right across all the way to the back. Just want it to be nice and even. Tape that, and then your wing, or whatever you want to call it, is secured. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side, in the back. And just like that. And now, for the next step, we'll fold the wings so that they are straight out, instead of in this V shape. So what we will do is grab it with our thumbs just like this and hold it with the other fingers and just fold this piece straight over like that, right along the tape. And then what you can do is make your crease, try to make it in line with the front of the circle of the plane. And then we can do that for the other side as well. We can also use that same kind of pinching technique just to make sure they're lined up decently. And then we can make our crease. Just like that. And now for the next step, as we can see, we have our wings a bit more straight now. And we can lay it down lengthwise, and we will bring our edge with, or we'll have it so that the fold that we made a while ago is on top, and then we will bring our bottom edge here and we will bring it right to the fold that we just made. Just like that. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Now this next fold can be a little bit tricky, but it is pretty simple once you figure it out. What we will do, we will bring this folded edge right to meet with our other fold that we made before when we were getting our wings nice and level. So this edge right to this edge. And then we will just, and we don't want to fold this flap here, we just want to fold this piece. We'll do this again on the other side if you missed it, and it should end up looking like that. We'll have this flap open, and you'll be able to bend that out to make your little end plate of your TIE fighter. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we'll bring this fold right to here, but we will leave this behind. So we can put our finger underneath this fold and just bring it over. Right to the body of the plane and make the fold. Just like that. Should end up somewhat like that, and then we can kind of adjust it. And then we have a couple more steps. We're almost done. We just need a little bit more tape. Can get a piece, cut it in half once again. And what we will do is grab one of our end plates and put some tape on the folded piece and the actual end plate. And then that will secure it in place and it will look nice. And we can do the same thing on the other side. just like that. And then as you can see, one of our end plate or wings is fully secured. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Always want to be careful with the scissors. Make sure you're not cutting yourself, because that is never good. And just grab this little end plate, tape that together, and then do the same thing on the other end. And there you go. Your TIE fighter is almost done. There's one little quick step, and that is the bulldog clip or binder clip, whatever you want to call it. And what I find works best is if you put it right at the bottom here, and then you can flip these little things inside out, and it will look pretty good and give you the nose weight that you need for this plane to fly. And yeah, you want to be a bit careful with this because it is metal and it can break things, so be careful of where you're throwing it. And basically the best way to throw it, I find, is if you just put your fingers in the back and you can basically just throw it like that. And it is a bit tricky to fly sometimes, but when you do get a good flight, it is pretty satisfying. And we'll see that in a second. Thanks for watching, and yeah, go see how the planes fly.